Hey everyone, David Wow here from Another Eden Adventures. How are ya? As the game gets bigger and bigger, I thought I'd do a quick guide for you for one of the major ways to get a huge one-up on bosses, which is farming light and shadow points. This video talks about what light and shadow points are, why on earth they're important, how to get them as quickly as possible for your favorite units, and my personal strategy for farming them. There are a lot of veterans who follow my channel, so if this is all old news to you, share your light and shadow farming strategy below. I'm sure it may help people, and maybe if you watch a video you may find something useful. Also, if you're stuck on a boss, I did a handy guide on how to max out your characters, which I'll link below. Let's get straight to the video, folks. So what are light and shadow points? Every unit in Another Eden is either a light unit or a shadow unit. Here's how to find out. When you go into your favorite unit, you'll notice that they either have a light icon, like I have with Suzette here, or a shadow icon, which I have with Gario here. Light and shadow points help you in two ways. Firstly, they give your unit a bunch of new stats. Who doesn't love stats? Tap on the little plus icon next to your unit's light or shadow points, then go to check bonus, and you'll see that the amount of stat upgrades you'll get will increase the more light or shadow points you have. Here, for example, you'll see that having more dark points gives Gario an extra 60 MP, a skill extension, a grass extension, and more. The second benefit is that the more total light and shadow points your party has, the more bonuses you'll get when you beat a level in another dungeon, which you can access from the space-time rift. In this example, I entered the Underworld dungeon with a team that had 193 light points and 50 shadow points. After I finished the dungeon, I got 3 rewards, but as you can see, I could have gotten 2 more rewards if I had a total of 240 light or shadow or 360 light or shadow points. So if I wanted more rewards, I'd have to equip members in my team with more light or shadow points. Most dungeons have different light or shadow requirements per number of rewards. You may then ask, David, how on earth do I know how many light or shadow points I need for a dungeon? The answer is simple, just Google it. By the way, we're almost at 500 subscribers, baby, and man, it's been a great journey with you all. I reckon we can get to 1,000 subs much faster. To celebrate us getting 1,000 subs, I plan to run a lucky draw where I'll be sending the winner an autographed photo of my belly button. Just kidding, I'll be sending the winner 50 Australian dollars to spend on Another Eden. I'm still figuring out how to do this because y'all live all over the world, but my plan so far is to send it via PayPal. Let's get to 1,000 subs, folks. Also, these videos can literally take days to make, so thank you so much for your support. So how can you get more light or shadow points? The first way is through simply by playing the game. Throughout the game, you'll open chests or accomplish quests that give you guiding light or luring shadow for your team members. These are normally weapon specific, such as luring shadow for your staff or guiding light for your katana, for example, to spend them wisely on the units you want. The second is by doing a banner pull. You may have noticed this already, but whenever you ever pull a unit you already have, you'll get light or shadow points. And you'll get even more light or shadow points if you pull a 4-star or a 5-star unit from a silver or a golden door. So even if you don't get the unit you want, you may be getting light or shadow points that can further strengthen your existing team. Also, some of the units that are weaker now that you keep pulling may have upgrades in the future, like Lele AS, so it's not always bad news, and in fact may be to your advantage if you pull the one that you don't want. Unless it's Zilver. The third way is available through the free units you can unlock in the game, like Aldo obviously, and Curio, and Garyu, the Chrono Cross and Persona crew, and so forth. Since you can't get these free units from banner pulls, another way to get light or shadow points for them is by playing specific dungeons. For example, if you play Miglan's Castle, you have a chance of getting a light point for Aldo. If you play Mysterious Vortex, Thundering Fortress, you have a chance of getting a light point for Nona. So how do you find out which dungeons give you which points to which units? Well, you can Google or you can click on the link I've attached below, which leads to this wiki page I'm showing you right now. A huge thank you, by the way, to the people who have contributed to this wiki because it is a lifesaver. Remember, you won't get a point every time you finish one of these dungeons. According to the wiki, there's a 10% chance if you play a dungeon on hard, 20% on very hard, and 25% in 2 times green key dungeons, such as the Underworld dungeon. You also have to make sure that the unit you're trying to get the light or shadow point for is in your team during your run. But before we start diving into the dungeons, Another Eden recently released a special dungeon called Toto Theater World. What Toto Theater World does is that it has the chance to give light or shadow points to up to 3 free units in your team when you complete it, which is great. But the catch is, the odds of getting light or shadow can be lower. According to the wiki, you have a 20% chance of getting a point for 1 unit, a 4% chance of getting 2 points for your units, and only a 0.8% chance of getting 3 points for your units. From my understanding, if you get more than 1 point, these can be distributed across your free units, or they can all be given to one. Let me know in the comments if I'm wrong about this. So what is my strategy? At first, you might think the strategy is easy. Toto Theater World all the way, baby. Because you have the chance of getting points for any free unit in the game. But actually, my answer is, it depends. Because you also want to think about the rewards you'll get from a specific dungeon. For example, right now I'm running through the Beast King's castle again and again, not only because I can get shadow points for Fine, but more importantly because of the rewards from this dungeon. In Beast King's castle you can get the Skadi proof as well as the Indra proof, which you can use to unlock Flamelopus and Victor and Other Styles VC Grasta respectively. Another example is if you play a dungeon like the Antiquity Garawella Continent dungeon. In this dungeon, you not only have the chance to get a shadow point for Garyu, but you also have the chance to receive more awards than Toto Theater World. You also get to farm more materials for Grasta, and it won't cost you a red key unlike Toto Theater World does. So maybe you can do both. You can spend your red keys on Toto Theater World and your green keys on Antiquity Garawella. So if I were you, I would ask myself which unit I would want to get light or shadow points for. Then I'd research the various awards you can win from the dungeons and see which options would give you the most rewards relevant to what you want. So pro tip, I would specifically look for VC Grasta tomes you can unlock for specific units in the dungeon. Which brings us to an important question: which free story unit should we spend our time getting light and shadow points for? Well, it depends on you. Which units do you like the most? And how much time do you have? And does that specific dungeon give you the rewards you want? If you're thinking long term, I would personally aim to level up Aldo. Firstly, because he's the hero of the game, right? Also, other units may become forgotten, like when's the last time you viewed Saki? But I'm going to bet that Aldo will always be there, so they'll keep making him stronger. In fact, in one of the main story updates, they gave Aldo a skill called X/Light, which increases his strength according to his number of light points, which is a huge incentive for you to build him up. I'd also spend time getting points for a unit that you think will remain strong for months or years to come and can preferably clear bosses and mobs. I invested quite a few points into Suzette. She now has 108 light points, which not only makes her stronger, but is also a major help for dungeons that require a lot of points. Her skill set also allows her to deal significant damage to mobs and bosses alike. I'd also personally look into Kid because I always keep her around for her steel skill. I'll be building up my Flamelopus because she's so insanely strong. I think she will be useful for some while. In summary, getting light and shadow points can give you some huge advantages in the game. There's several ways to get them, and what you spend time on the most depends on which units you want to build up and what kind of rewards you want to receive. So do check out that wiki free unit farming article I've linked below. Thanks everyone for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this video, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and check me out on Twitch. We have a lot of laughs there. Also, if we get to 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, I'll be running a $50 Australian giveaway for one lucky person to spend on another Eden. So let's do it, baby. Love you all. See you soon.